Welcome to Pegwarmers. I'm Kevin.
And I'm Johanna from Hack the Movies.
And we're here to talk about toys. Johanna, it's great to have you on.
Finally. We've been talking about this for like forever.
We talked about doing an episode where Johanna showed off her Porgs since back when my show was called SEO Toy Review.
Yep.
And like a long time ago, like when Porgs were new, we talked about doing this.
2019, basically, yeah.
The pandemic got in the way and just other things, but it's good to have you on now.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. So, the first segment that we do on the show is news, and the whole episode is very Star Wars heavy. A lot of times I try to like change it up, but it just kind of everything just fell in line. And so our news story is that Disneyland is stopping the lightsaber building experience.
Which I'm happy it's just Disneyland because I'm going to Disney World in February and I really, really, really want to build my own lightsaber.
That's part of your plan?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've been to Disney World to the Star Wars. Why am I blanking on what that's called? What's
Galaxy's Edge?
Galaxy's Edge, yeah. So I've been to Galaxy's Edge. I did not do any of the experience things. I didn't build a droid. I didn't build a lightsaber.
Okay.
But I did the rides.
Did you do, was it Uga's Cantina?
I was in there, but I don't think I ate
okay.
from there.
I ate and drank in there.
Okay.
It's great.
I got the thermal detonator Diet Coke bottle and things like that. But I was there with like my nieces that are little kids, my mom, my sister. So it was like it wasn't all Star Wars, but they were very accommodating to me, like to try and get on the rides. And this was a while ago. It was pre-pandemic, like right before the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
So like we kind of orchestrated the trip around having two chances to like get in line for the rides in the morning when you had to be in the park to use the app to like get a slot.
Yeah.
What a mess. But we were able to ride Rise of the Resistance and the Millennium Falcon.
What were you for the Millennium Falcon?
I actually got to do it 3 times. I did all 3 jobs.
Oh, nice. I only done it once, and it was I was the engineer, and I had the most points at the end, and I'm just like, yeah.
The pilot job is the most fun of them because you're doing more than just tapping a button.
When I did it, you would think that like the people are on this ride and they'll be like, oh well, like I know what to do. They didn't know to pull the lever down.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's the most iconic part.
On the 3rd time I was on it, the pilots were not from my family. The first 2 times I went on it was just my family that was in it. But the 3rd time we were with some other guys and they didn't even speak English. And
no.
So we're at that point and I'm like, pull the thing! And they like look at me and I'm like, and they finally did it. I'm like, oh, how do you not know that like that just...
I don't think it's also like advertised well that it's an interactive ride.
Yeah, maybe.
So a lot of people are just like, oh, the Millennium Falcon, we get to go on. And
right.
No, you interact with stuff. You're pressing buttons.
You're pressing buttons and you're actually controlling the ship if you're the pilot.
Yeah.
It's cool. We're way off topic of the news story, though.
Yes.
So, but I guess we hit all the points. They just don't want to wipe the stuff down. They're too worried about the
health.
health.
I think so. Like COVID and
Yeah, I don't know. COVID's wrecking everything.
Yeah.
That's lame.
It really is.
All right, on to something more interesting. New to the collection. You've got a few Porgs.
Yeah, just a few.
How often do you think you get something new to your Porg collection?
So in the beginning, which kind of shocked me, Porg merch was kind of coming out of nowhere. Like it was just everywhere. Recently it's died down, but last year was probably early this year was probably the last time I bought a Porg until this morning. But but you know, whatever.
Right. So what's your newest Porg?
My newest is this Porg here.
Okay.
It's actually from Target. Disney/Star Wars for Galaxy's Edge, as you can like see on the little tag.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if anybody's really gonna be able to see it here. I don't know. They just did a small collection of just Galaxy's Edge stuff because I'm pretty sure it's when it was when the lockdown happened. But like no one could go anywhere, so they were like, "Oh well, here's this collection." And I drove to like 3 different stores just to get this Porg, and I was checking the app and it said it was in stock, and I'm like, "Well, where is it?" So I ended up getting someone to actually go in the back and like dig through the stuff just so I can get this thing. So, oops. But I got it, and he's cute.
Yeah, so when you collect a very specific thing like this, you have a very narrow focus. It's weird because the merchandise sometimes comes in drips and drabs where, you know, a product is really hot, a character is really hot, and there's a ton of it, and then it kind of goes away sometimes unless it becomes a very evergreen character, like if it's Darth Vader or something
Yeah.
like that. There's always that product, but when it's a little bit more niche,
Yeah.
you kind of get that where like all of a sudden there's a bunch of it and then there's not, and so it'll be interesting to see how Porgs continue to grow. Have you noticed at all whether it's like the less of action figures and more of like home goods or more of like is there a certain area of your collection that's growing more?
Definitely home goods.
Okay.
There's more, it seems to be shirts, and I just got a bathrobe too.
Okay.
That have been coming out more. They even had this like one Star Wars collection. Was it Williams Sonoma? I think it is, like the kitchen stuff.
Yeah.
They had this little like bird that you put in the pie that apparently like whistles, but they decided to make it a porg. I still haven't gotten that yet, but I will. But yeah, for some reason that's a thing, which I think it's cute. But yeah, I really only see porgs outside of like apparel now, just in Disney parks.
Yeah.
That's where the merch
I
comes
could
out
see
now.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's weird how fast that trilogy hit. Like the merchandise has moved away from that trilogy. Like,
Yeah.
They're back to just doing an original trilogy or the new content like Mandalorian
Yeah.
and things like that. So it will be interesting to see if that comes back around or not, or if they'll visit that island in any of these future, storylines, and if that'll bring the Porgs back into the merchandise or not.
They're not terrible. It's not like they're annoying. So
No, I mean,
kind of there.
they're pretty benign, really.
Yeah.
All right, and then our Pegwarmer for this episode. The Pegwarmer is always a toy that sits on the shelves, doesn't sell well. And there have been a lot of Star Wars Pegwarmers over the years. But I dug this one up. I bought this guy a while ago when he was on clearance for like $2.60 or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I got to get it. So I have a Supreme Leader Snoke here. This figure, he's like extra tall, and he's got the cloth good Hugh Hefner robe. These things were all over the pegs. Like, nobody wanted this. And really, it seemed like he was going to be so important, and then he wasn't, so I get why. Once you realize, okay, this isn't going anywhere with this character, why you're not dying to own him, especially for, like, kids and stuff. He didn't do anything. So, makes it hard to sell the toy, I think.
Yeah.
So here's our Pegwarmer for the episode. I'm tempted to open him up. I feel like he deserves a spot on my shelf.
And I'm sure you could find him sealed
I'm sure
somewhere.
I could find him again. Yes. No, I'm sure he's pretty easy to find. So yeah, Snoke. So the main part of our episode today is us just showing off things from our Star Wars collections, and I focused on mostly Kenner Star Wars stuff. There's a couple non-Kenner things here, but it mostly 70s and 80s Star Wars things, and obviously you focused on Porgs.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if this is like a perfect list of my top 10 favorite items in my Star Wars collection, because it's hard to like rank stuff and figure it out. But I did look around and I was like, what are the interesting things? What are the things that I would miss the most from my collection? And some of them were tough calls, but my number 10 spot is naked 12-inch Chewbacca.
It's so scary.
So in 1977, when the first movie came out, they made the 3 3/4-inch figures in the vehicle line, and they also made a line of 12-inch figures, because actually 12-inch figures were very popular back then with the original G.I. Joe figures and things like that. And they did Chewie and Darth Vader, Luke, Leia, Han. The Han actually has the same head as a Indiana Jones figure they would release later.
Well,
So they already sculpted it, and they had the
Makes
license
sense.
for both lines. Just reuse it. And I actually bought this at the Trenton Punk Rock Flea Market with
nice.
Paul and Heather one time.
Nice.
Some people that we both know. Heather was actually my co-host on SEO Tour Review when it very, very first started. So anyway, I have a naked Chewie. Someday maybe I'll find his bandolier, but
Nah, keep him naked.
for now he's like the leisure Chewie at home. He doesn't need his bowcaster ammo on him. All right, so what's your first item of interest?
I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with my first ever Porg. That's falling off its stand, but it's fine.
I'm amazed that they made so many different Funko bobblehead
Right?
Porgs.
So, what was it? 2019, right before The Last Jedi released. I remember seeing an article in Entertainment Weekly, And it was just like, Porgs, love them or hate them, or something like that, or something along those lines. And I'm just like, what is that? And I'm looking, and it's like the cutest like puppets. They're like actually like they have gifs of them that actually moving and everything.
Okay.
I'm like, oh my God, these are really cute. So I went to the store one day, saw this sitting on the shelf, and I'm like, sure, I'll get it. And then Tony from Hack the Movies decided to make fun of me.
He's so famous.
Yeah. He was like, you don't even know if you like them yet because the movie hasn't released yet.
That has happened to Star Wars fans a lot. People that bought Jar Jar product and then regretted it.
I understand, but like it's cute. Like what's the worst that's like it's fine. Saw the movie. Movie was a thing. Still love the Porgs. They were great. But yeah, my very first one, and I think this was my first Funko Pop too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They're a slippery slope.
Yeah. And like the thing with the Funko Pops for them, at least, like they look like the Porgs. It's not creepy eyes. Like it looks like them.
Yeah, it's funny. It really doesn't have the Funko Pop aesthetic at all.
Literally, it's just.
If you took it off the stand, you wouldn't even really know that it was a Funko thing.
Which I could.
Yeah, that's funny. It just looks like a
Ta-da.
Porg bobblehead. All right, so my number 9, they're behind you, but I brought a couple corkboards with me. They're both from 1980, and I bought them at a toy show. But for some reason, the Luke on Tauntaun really just like tickles my fancy. Because do you remember that time in Empire Strikes Back where he has Darth Vader's lightsaber and he's riding around on a Tauntaun?
I didn't even realize. I'm looking. I'm like, something's up, but I'm not.
It's so bizarre. I mean, like. Granted, it probably was like created before the movie even came out, but like, why did they color it that way? They just wanted something to pop. That's really fun. Maybe used shades of blue and gray in the thing. But that one, I love that. The R2 and C-3PO look pretty decent. The R2's got a little bit too much blue shading on him.
Yeah, no red light.
No red light. They saved the red paint for the lightsaber.
Yeah, they're like, we only got a little bit. It has to go for this.
I'm not sure if there's others of those. I have a feeling that they did other, like there's probably 4 or 5. Generally, if you see those kind of like licensed products, they make several different graphics like that. But those are the 2 that I found so far.
I like them.
Well, I like them.
Okay, let's see. I want to do these because it took me forever to get them because there was, and always is, a line of toys released at San Diego Comic-Con. And this was a limited edition thing that you can only get there. And it came with a Chewbacca, but the Chewbacca is terrifying. So he just lives in the box.
More terrifying than Naked Chewie?
More terrifying. I have to show you a picture. Like it's terrifying. But I have the Porgs, and they're actually nice and fuzzy, and they actually come with the Porglets. So it's baby Porgs. But then it has the mom and dad, which you can actually tell what male or female Porg. Like,
how do we know?
So if you know actual bird stuff, which I only learned this because of Porgs. The males are the prettier ones.
Yes, okay. I knew
so like
that
with
about
cardinals,
birds. Right.
like cardinals are the bright red or whatever, and then
pheasants and things like that,
and then the female ones are the more like toned down or whatever. So all the ones with the orange faces are boys, and then the just gray ones are girls.
I just assumed that had something to do with like maturity.
Nope.
Interesting. Okay.
Boys and girls.
Well, knowing is half the battle.
So yeah, I really wanted these, and I finally got them, and I'm very happy I have them. I don't know if you want to like touch them.
I'll
He's
check
like
it out.
super fuzzy.
Oh my goodness.
They're so nice.
When I was a kid, I had always wished they had made baby Ewoks like as an accessory for the Kenner line because they're just so adorable. And I always thought it'd be basically like this, like a little basket with the little babies in it would have been great. Those are pretty cool. Yeah. And so, like, what size is the Chewbacca? Because these are pretty big.
I think he's about
so
around that.
10 or 12 inch. Yeah, that's cool.
But
nice.
I needed them.
Fuzzy Porgs. All right, the next thing I'm gonna do is the Rancor. And with the HasLab Rancor failing, I don't know if you follow anything related to toys other than Porgs, but Hasbro, who does the modern Star Wars toys, they have a collector website, and they sometimes do these ridiculous products, and if they can kickstart them, basically, they'll produce them.
Okay.
And the Rancor was one. It was going to be scaled to 6-inch figures, so it was huge.
Yeah.
And they just couldn't get enough fans. Like
Okay.
The little incentive things pissed people off. Like the first incentive was like a cardboard backdrop and a couple of like bones to put on the ground.
Oh.
People were like, that sucks.
Yeah.
So anyway, I always thought the original Rancor was an amazing toy from back in the 80s. He's got a chomping mouth. He's got big terrifying arms. And I actually bought this one. I was in a costume contest at a mini convention years ago.
Okay.
It was in basically like a dirt mall kind of thing in New Jersey. Like everybody has their own little stalls, and this guy rented out the open area in the complex and had like a mini convention. So there, like, people were vendors, and they had a guest, like the voice of Lion-O from Thundercats was like the guest.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they had a costume contest, and I wore this cardboard Optimus Prime costume I had made for Halloween.
That's great.
And I got third place. My friend Rose, who is one of the people that runs RetroCon, got second place. And a kid in a $20 Walmart Spider-Man costume got first place.
Sounds about right, yeah.
But my prize was $25 that you could spend anywhere in the whatever the heck the place was called.
Yeah, the stand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a toy store there, so like you knew that's where anybody that was at this convention was going to go. So
Yeah.
I bought this Rancor with my prize. I kind of always wanted one, and so
I think that was a good choice.
that was a good
Yeah.
choice. The Rancor.
You know what? I'm going to do this one. The box with it, too. So, originally, my Porgs were just, I saw it in store and I bought it.
Okay.
If I got it offline, it was like Amazon or something. Like something where it wasn't buying overseas or whatever, because everything was
It's a good way to limit your collection and not go crazy.
So then I realized, I could go on eBay
Yes.
and see if anything's on there, especially anything I might have missed. Maybe I didn't know this one thing came out and I really want it. So I ended up going on and actually found the listing for this,
Okay.
which is from a crane game in Japan.
Wow.
And it's probably the most detailed Porg I have, and it's so adorable. Like, I love this thing so much. And he actually opens his arms and stuff.
Wow.
Like, it's so cute. And it's pretty heavy too. Like, it's
Yeah, he's really solid.
yeah.
You'd almost think he was like ceramic or resin or something.
Yeah.
He's really heavy.
But I'm keeping this forever. And came from Tomy, apparently.
Okay.
So hey.
Very cool.
Sure. But yeah, I think this is probably I mean, I love all my Porgs, but this is probably my favorite one. It's so good. It's so cute.
Nice. All right. So my number 7 spot, I'm going to put the Imperial Shuttle, with this giant thing taking up all the space, making it hard for us to talk to each other. Granted, the Millennium Falcon is probably the most iconic ship, and also one of the most iconic toys from the Kenner Star Wars toy line. Like, anybody that was a kid in the 70s or early 80s had one. Like, you can find the shell to that at flea markets all the time.
Yeah.
Any comic book store has 10 stripped down shells in the back.
I was born in '89 and I had a Millennium Falcon. Everybody had one.
So I felt like I couldn't bring the Millennium Falcon. It's too lame. But the Imperial Shuttle, because it came out for Return of the Jedi, it didn't have as much shelf life. Because a lot of the toys, basically, they would just keep them in stores through the entire run. So, the Darth Vader figure was out the whole time, the TIE Fighter was out the whole time. But the Imperial Shuttle is a little harder to find. They did re-release it in the 90s with the Power of the Force 2 line. But this is the original one, and I really like it. I was excited to get it. I bought it online, actually, as an adult collector, and had it shipped to me, and I was worried about it breaking. But it's really cool.
Yeah.
I love it.
That's
I can't
awesome.
imagine playing with it as a kid, because it's unwieldy.
It's
big.
Yeah. Does it move and stuff in the
So
back?
there are guns that move on the side. The canopy can open.
Oh.
There is a little ramp that comes down, but it really is awkward to try and put a guy on the ramp.
Yeah.
There's one side panel on this side that comes off, so you can throw some guys in the back.
Okay.
And there is a trigger on the underside. I'm not going to do it because it's going to whack the mics, but the wings will like fold down.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I can see like the...
There's like a little ratchet thing on the side, yeah. So it's kind of fun.
That's awesome.
But it's just kind of an impressive piece and kind of something I didn't think I'd ever own as a kid. You know, because so I was born in 82, which was like Return of the Jedi's out. All the stuff existed, but I didn't know what Star Wars really was while it was still on the shelves.
Yeah.
Like, right around the time that I saw the movie, all the merchandise was gone. And so when I was 6, 7, 8, 9, like that perfect age to love Star Wars, and my friends and I were all like buying Star Wars stuff at yard sales and flea markets. And so this kind of thing you just would never find. So, you know, it was kind of like a grail piece when I picked it up. So
It's awesome.
it's cool.
Alrighty. Which do I want to do? There's many ones. No, I want to talk about this one. So, I'm pretty sure you know what a Mighty Mug is.
I do. I remember the first round of Mighty Mugs when they were all super generic, and then they decided they needed to be more expressive.
Yeah. So, I got this randomly because I realized eBay, you know, you could just go on there and start searching for stuff. Then I was wondering, I wonder if I searched like Target or Walmart or wherever else and see what they have listed. I found this on Walmart for $10 and I was like, well, click.
Yeah. I mean, when you're this deep into Porgs, you gotta just,
like,
even if it sucks, you gotta buy it.
I've never seen a Mighty Mug before.
Okay.
And then I saw it because I was like, what is this? Why does this have different faces? And then when I finally got it, I was like, oh, that's why.
Yeah, so that feature for Mighty Mugs was pretty much debuted around the time of that movie. I actually got a Ray Porg, a Ray Mighty Mug that was sent to me to take a look at, and that was the first time I had seen that feature.
Yeah, I like it.
But
I think it's really cute.
It's goofy, for sure. I do like that it has all the different facial expressions, because that really is kind of the best thing about the Porgs, is that they are so expressive.
Yeah, like you get the sad Porg, angry Porg, and then just the yelling Porg.
And it's the one thing that, like, because they're similar to the Ewoks as far as, like, they're just cute and cuddly, easily merchandisable character in Star Wars, but, like, the Ewoks really weren't super expressive because they just wear masks. Mm-hmm. And that's, you know, the one advantage of it being a digital thing, is that they can be really involved. All right, next up, I have with me a Monomon, which is one of the last 17 Star Wars figures. After the movie lines, they did A New Hope, they did Empire Strikes Back, they did Return of the Jedi, and then they created a line called Power of the Force.
Okay.
And Power of the Force, there were 17 figures in that line. They packed them with a collector coin. They somehow thought that was going to help sell Star Wars now that it was dying down.
Is that around Pogs?
No, it's way before Pogs.
Okay, because I was going to be like, maybe they're like, yeah, use this with that.
Nah, it's probably a decade before that, but...
Okay.
Those last 17 figures are pretty hard to find, and they're mostly Return of the Jedi characters, but it did include things like Luke in his Stormtrooper disguise. So they did go back and grab, like, a couple things that they had missed, and I guess they would have continued to, like, grab stuff throughout the movies. But a Monomon is a character from Jabba's palace, who is just one of the craziest designs. Really doesn't do much in the movies, probably because it was almost impossible to move in the costume.
Yeah.
But it was one of the figures I really, really wanted, and actually friends of mine, when I was in high school, like, chipped in and got it for me for Christmas.
Oh, that's really nice.
I still don't have his accessory, and, like, he's got paint rub and stuff on him, but I would never replace him in my collection because friends got him for me. But that was a figure that we wanted so bad as kids, knowing that it existed, and just like, it's so weird. I'm sure we would have come up with some sort of crazy storyline for him, because we always just kind of, the less you knew, the more fun the toy was, really. So, there's a Monomon.
I'm going to talk about two.
Okay.
I'm going to talk about these two. I'm just going to harken back on finding out the sexes of the two Porgs, because the orange one here, like the orange-faced one, that was the first plushie Porg I got.
Okay.
And I didn't realize that there was also the gray one. I hit the microphone. So when I got this, I was like, okay, well, this is, done. Like, I don't have to worry about, like, buying any other type of stuffed animal or whatever. And then for some reason, because I got him off Amazon, the female was then suggested to me. And I'm like, wait, what is this? So I started researching it more and then realized, oh, there's a male and female. Why? Why are you doing this to me? And yeah, then that just started me looking up a bunch of different other Porgs to see if they had the female one, or maybe if I just had the female one, I could find the male one.
Yeah.
I thought it was just, no, they're just different colors. No, there's a meaning to the colors.
All right.
There we go.
So how often does a company release both versions, would you say? Like,
pretty rare.
it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
They just randomly put one out.
So like the 2 plushies I have there, they're a set.
Okay.
Technically. But then I think the only other time I really see like the male female thing is probably in the Funko Pops.
Okay.
Otherwise it's
Mostly the male ones.
Yeah, it's mostly the males. Like, I mean, the one with the Porglets over there has the gray face, so I mean, I guess it makes sense because it'd be the mom, but
Right.
otherwise it's mainly the orange one, which I understand it's like more expressive and like, you're looking around, you see the orange, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like, it pops.
It definitely pops.
But
more.
yeah.
All right, my next figure, and this ties into the Rancor and actually even that HasLab thing failing. I brought the Rancor Keeper with me.
Nice.
My buddy Brian, one of my childhood friends, he always insisted the Rancor Keeper was the coolest guy in Star Wars because he's the only guy that cries. There's like that one little shot where he cries. Now, I'm sure other people have cried since then now because there's been a lot more like tragedy in Star Wars.
Didn't Luke cry?
I don't think you ever see tears. He's like sad on the Millennium Falcon that Ben died.
Or even when he finds out about his father?
I don't think you ever see tears.
Huh.
But the Rancor Keeper literally cries.
Oh, I know he literally cried.
He's super bummed.
It was sad.
It was
yeah,
sad.
it was his baby.
So I always liked the Rancor Keeper. It's actually, he was one of the first figures I ever tracked down, like an old school carded figure of, because I just always thought the Rancor Keeper was hilarious. And when I was a kid, like I had said, we always got our figures from yard sales and things. A buddy of mine, we each had like a plain Rancor Keeper. We didn't have his accessory. He has a staff and the hood. And we would just always come up with these crazy storylines. And the majority of our stuff revolved around Jabba the Hutt because, again, it was like he was an important character that you didn't know a lot about because he was only in one movie and he had all these weird characters with him. And so we would do this weird bit where the Rancor Keepers would try to like out-fashion each other. And we would make like little armbands and like headdresses out of pipe cleaners and like and twist ties and stuff for them. I don't know. It's really goofy, but the Rancor Keeper is one of my favorites. A lot of people really wanted the Rancor Keeper to be a stretch goal for the HasLab thing, and they kind of added it at the last minute, and people were like, it's too late. You should have thought of that from the start instead of the cardboard and bones.
Yeah.
So, there's the Rancor Keeper.
I like him.
All right.
So, this Porg here is not official.
Ooh, unlicensed merchandise.
This is So, I've kind of made it a point to only buy official Porg merchandise. So, pretty much, every single thing here besides this is all official.
Okay.
The only reason I wanted to bring this in, whatever, because I thought it was super cute. My fiance's sister, it was our first Christmas together where we were like hanging out with, his family, and she handmade this for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I barely know you. Like I just met you and you made me this. Like I felt so awkward because I only had like a gift card for her. Cause like, she just made this for me.
It's a ton of effort in that kind of thing.
It's really cute. And it's like, it's pretty like squishy and stuff, but like,
yeah, it's funny.
It's really good.
It looks great. And it feels like, I mean, I don't know a ton about knitting, but like the stitching is very uniform.
Yeah.
Like it looks like somebody, it's not like the first thing they've ever made for
yeah.
sure.
Like it's crazy. I was like, why? Oh my God. Like, and you
cool.
like me? But yeah, I definitely want to talk about this one.
All right. The next one I'm going to bring up here. I guess this one's another, kind of connects to my childhood. This is one of those figures that they've never done properly. but it would have been an easy figure to do this. So they kind of skipped over certain characters in the old toy line. They never did Tarkin. They never did Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. And now there's like a retro line, and they went back and did at least Tarkin, and they did a few other things. But when I was a kid, I made cardboard shoulder pauldrons to make sand troopers, and I still have a couple of them. Like, I kept them with my Star Wars accessories, so they've always been in my collection. So here's my sand trooper on Dewback and my sand trooper, and it's literally just a piece of cardboard that I, like, cut so it would, like, cling around the neck.
That's awesome.
And so those are my homemade sand troopers, and I don't know. It's just fun childhood memories of, like, trying to make everything that you saw on screen come to life.
Yeah.
So,
that's awesome.
The Dewback would be a good runner-up for my list. I love that guy. All right, what else you got?
All right. So I mentioned before how majority of the Porg stuff now I'm finding in Disney parks.
Right.
Before everything went crazy in 2020, October 2019, I went to Disneyland for the first time. Okay. Never been to California.
Yeah, I've never been to California. Yeah, never been to Disneyland.
I love Disneyland. I've now been able to go to both Galaxy's Edge.
Okay. How different are they?
So really, the only thing that's different is like it's different paint colors. Mainly, like I think it's the Disney World one, I believe, is the brighter one.
Okay.
It's because of the way the sun hits. So it doesn't just like peel the paint and like fade it out real fast.
Well, he had something to say.
Well, excuse me. I didn't do that, by the way. So, yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, except it's also just facing a different way.
Gotcha. But it's the same like layout.
Yeah, same exact stuff.
I assumed it had all the same stuff in it, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it's same.
Because they're working with a different footprint, basically. I guess they didn't. They had the exact same.
Yeah, it's
square footage.
Same thing. It's just faced a different way, and the paints are different. Like they still have the I don't know if you've noticed. They had like the wood carvings.
Yeah,
and they have the Porg ones, which I'm very upset that they don't sell those. Oh my goodness! But this is one of the things that you could actually get there, and I was almost heartbroken because when I went and I see them in the stores, I'm like, holy crap! Like obviously I'm getting one. They told me that they just got back in stock that day.
Wow.
If I would have went the day before, came the day day after, I would not have been able to get a Porg.
Wow.
And I would have been super upset. But yeah, I love it. It's a little puppet. It has little hardened feet. The rest of it's pretty squishy, but it has a little like tube in here to, control stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
So I can make it do this, and then it can also talk.
Huh.
So yeah, I love it.
Now, did that come in like a cardboard box that looks like a cage?
Yeah.
So it was similar to, because I got the Salacious Crumb type puppet.
Yeah, it's because it was the menagerie they have it, whatever. And
That's cool.
It comes in the little gray, silver, whatever you want to call it.
Little carrying thing.
Yeah, and it has the holes in the box and all that. Yeah.
Nice.
Come on, Porgy. There you go.
All right, the next thing I've got is probably, I guess, the rarest thing in my Star Wars collection. This is the final figure from that Power of the Force line.
Okay.
Yakface. He's again one of these Jabba the Hutt guys. But the majority of the figures, or pretty much all the figures, were sent to Canada.
Huh.
It was like the tail end, and it just wasn't. They weren't selling, and for whatever reason, he was behind in production, and so they're just really hard to find in the U.S. And I have 2 of them, which is extra ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, it was the last Star Wars figure I needed to complete the Kenner line. And my sister ordered one for me for Christmas on eBay. Like she had just bought a house, and I had done a ton of work for her and my brother-in-law, like painting and stuff like that. And so she decided to get me this figure, and she ordered it on eBay. And then there was some problem, and it never came in. So she gave me something else for Christmas. And then I had like some Christmas money, and I was like, I'm finally just gonna do it. I'm gonna pull the trigger. And I bought one off eBay, and it came in. And then like she just kind of hung on to it because it took forever.
Yeah.
And then I don't know if it was for my birthday or just like a little while later. Anyway, she ended up giving it to me, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And it's kind of silly for me to have 2 of them, but also because it's so hard to come by, I'm like, it's just kind of cool. So anyway, I got Yakface, and So like I said, he's probably the rarest one, and definitely again one of these figures that I just never, as a kid, thought I'll just never see one of those. They were, kind of like a legendary thing. People were like, "Oh, did you know they made a Yakface figure?" So kind of cool.
All right, for this one, I need to go over there to go grab one. Because you just reminded me of a story that I have.
Okay. Johanna has abandoned me, so now's the time to talk about the Patreon for Pegwarmers. You can join our Patreon. We have bonus content. There's unboxings and toy store visits and things like that each week. And then we also have a Discord. And there's also cartoon commentaries on the $5 tier if you upgrade a little bit. But it's a new thing we're doing, and it's kind of fun getting to interact with people through that. All right, Johanna, I think she's back and ready.
Yes. So you brought up the whole thing about how your sister ordered you the toy, delayed forever. You got it yourself, but then you ended up getting 2. So I actually have 3 of these.
Okay.
Sorry. When I first ordered this, it was from Shop Disney.
Okay.
And I don't know what happened, but like it shipped out and then it just went missing. And I waited until after the like supposed delivery date to contact them to be like, hey, like I don't know what happened to this, blah, blah, blah. They're like, oh, we'll just send you another one. I'm like, okay. So, I don't know, maybe 5 days later, the one that was resent, delivered, everything was fine. 2 days later, the other one just shows up.
Weird.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, sure. Then a fan of mine from Hack the Movies ended up just sending me one too.
Okay.
So now I have 3 of them. So I'm going to...
expanding the flock.
Yeah, I'm going to open this one because I want to keep at least one sealed. So what these are...
So the tag opens up, folds out.
Yeah, we don't need the tag. So what this is a little shoulder porg.
Okay.
So it sits on you. So I have one of these at home that literally is my go to the parks porg. So when I go to the Star Wars world, whatever, California, Florida, whatever, I have one with me.
Okay.
Sometimes I'll stick it on my hat. So it'll be like inside my hat. So he's just sitting on top of my hat. It's really cute. So also going back on finding Porg stuff just in Disney parks, they now just sell this one. They used to sell this one.
Okay.
But for some reason they decided to, I guess it looks more similar to the puppet here.
Maybe.
So maybe that's why they do that, but it's the same thing. It's the same shoulder porg, like
Gotcha.
It's whatever. But yeah, I can just pop these in my shoulder. One here. And I got another one. It's comfy, like it's not annoying. They're kind of top heavy, but like then they just stay. It's just magnets.
Cool. Nice.
And they just chill. So yeah, now I have 3 of these. So if you know anybody that would want one.
All right, my number 2 spot I brought with me, and a lot of these things are Jabba the Hutt stuff. I keep going back to that, but I've got Max Rebo. This is Snoodles and the Max Rebo band.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Max Rebo is my favorite Kenner Star Wars figure. I mean, he's just a blue elephant, and this is not what Max Rebo is supposed to look like. This is not what the puppeteers wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But the guys from Kenner just looked at the picture and were like, well, I guess he's got legs underneath that. Really, his piano-playing arms are his legs, and it bends, and it's like the shoulder's really like a knee joint, but it's hard to tell from the short little bit of footage in the movie. So really, he's supposed to be sitting on top of the organ, playing with his feet.
Okay.
But just the way they converted him in an action figure, he is like that. So anyway, I love this guy. Whenever I see one of them for sale at like a toy show or whatever for not outrageous money, I try and pick it up. But usually it's packed with the band because anybody that's selling them wants to sell them together. So you end up with a bunch of Droopy McCools and a bunch of nice noodles. And I'm to the point now where as I collect them and get different sets, I have like the black microphones as well as the silver microphones. So like there's even variants of these guys. But I always thought the band was funny and cool. I played with them a lot as a kid, and I have a little shelf that has a bunch of these guys on
That's
it. And
awesome.
so I try and collect him, kind of like how you collect the Porgs. I try to collect Max Rebos in other formats. I don't have anywhere near as many as you, but I have like, there was like a Beanie Baby-esque one, and I have the Lego minifigure and like an eraser from back in the 80s and things like that. So if there's Max Rebo merchandise, I tend to pick it up.
That's awesome, though. I really like that. What am I on my bottom 2 now?
Yeah. What's your faves?
I mean, they're all my favorite. I'm going to save that one for last, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to do both of these because technically they're both Hot Wheels. So I remember looking to see, because I like Hot Wheels.
Okay.
I think they're super cute. I don't really collect them, but I just like to look at them, especially if I'm in the store. So I originally just saw that they had a Chewbacca one.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder if they would actually come out with a Porg one, because they decided to make the Porgs the like sidekick basically for a little bit.
Right.
Even though they're only really with him in just The Last Jedi, but whatever. I ended up getting a notification on eBay randomly one day saying that this one came out.
Okay.
So, of course, I bought it right away. But like, it's so ridiculous. I'm pretty sure I don't want to open it, but I'm pretty sure like the mouth can open.
Okay.
I'm almost positive, but I wanted to include this one too because it's a battle roller.
Yeah, I remember Battle Rollers.
So it has the Porgs in the background, like on Octu, and then you can actually like have them on the Millennium Falcon and just have it move back and forth. Like both of these are staying in the cases forever, because especially this one because it's interactive. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I really, really wanted this one, and the moment it was like, oh yeah, here, I was like, oh okay, yes. And these weren't expensive at all either. I think they're both $5.
Yeah, Hot Wheels stuff is never priced too much.
It was great.
Yeah, the character cars are such an interesting thing for design because Hot Wheels.
Want to look at the back?
Hot Wheels generally are real cars, but then they do these lines with Star Wars characters and Disney characters and things like that. And
Yeah.
they just make up a vehicle that looks. The General Grievous thing looks almost like a Batmobile.
Yeah.
In a sense, it's
Some of them
pretty
are really weird.
funny. The Admiral Akbar is bizarre.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, that is really funky, but it's
Is
a
that
cute,
weird?
It's a cute Hot Wheel for sure. It almost looks like a Cybertron version of a Transformer, like a weird alien car for sure.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Super weird.
I needed it. I didn't need it, but I needed it.
So one of my favorite things in my collection is my blue Snaggletooth. And anybody that collects Kenner Star Wars or knows the history of Kenner Star Wars, basically when they were making toys for the first movie, they got black and white photos of a bunch of the characters, and they just were told sculpt the toys, which is why a lot of guys ended up with like the wrong colors or like legs that just don't really, like the Elephant Man, Max Rebo here, having legs, right? They just didn't have the right information. So they were going to make a set, like a Cantina set, and it was a cardboard backdrop with a couple figures, and it was a Sears exclusive thing. And at some point, Lucasfilm is looking at this set and goes, he's supposed to be red and he's short. But they had made him a full-height figure in blue with, like, silver space boots and everything. And so after that thing got mailed out, they just didn't produce more of him. It was just, they retooled him up with new legs and made him red for his, like, packaged release.
Yeah.
So this guy is very common, the red Snaggletooth or just Snaggletooth. And then the blue Snaggletooth was sort of a legendary figure when I was a kid. Everyone talked about it, and he's not as rare now as we thought. Like, once eBay became a thing and you were like, oh, there's always one for sale, it's not as rare, but they are still very hard to find. And so he was a guy I really wanted for a long time. For a time, he was the most expensive figure in my like entire collection. Now with collector toys, stuff's outrageously expensive, even if it's brand new. But he's still the Kenner toy I paid the most money for when I was working on collecting all the Kenner toys. And I actually have the 12-inch Gentle Giant. They 3D scanned and like perfectly reproduced them. And since I like him so much, I got the big one. But when I was in college, my friends and I did a whole bunch of stop motion animation stuff. we did like for college campus TV. And the show that we were like brainstorming to do next that we never did was called The Blue Snaggletooth Show. And it was about Blue, who was like a high school kid who had a job at like this fish fry restaurant after school.
Oh my God.
And it was going to be, I think it was 8 episodes because it was supposed to be like a week of his life, but one whole episode was going to end up being a dream. So we were going to have 2 Thursdays so we could have this one episode that was a little bit weird, but then reset. Like he wakes up and is like, oh, that didn't happen. And all the red Snaggletooths that I had, which I have like 5 or 6 of them at the time, were going to be his little brothers, and they were just going to be like constantly annoying. And they had no identifying characteristics. Like they were all just totally interchangeable. They're just this pack of little brothers. And all the parents, all the high school kids in the show were going to be the old school Star Wars figures, and all their parents were going to be the modern like 90s versions of them, because the 90s ones all were like a little bit more buff.
Okay.
So it made sense for them to be the adult versions of them. So I was slowly collecting like 2 of each one of the old figures in the new format. So there was a mom and a dad, like for these different scenes, and we had picked out like characters to be teachers and stuff. It was ridiculous.
Oh my God.
So a lot of pre-production for nothing to show for it. So
that's really funny. All right, so I wanted to save this one for last. So I didn't know this existed until I was just randomly surfing on eBay.
Okay.
Why this is probably my favorite is because there is a deleted scene, which I'm actually kind of sad that it was deleted. But if you remember the one scene where, Luke Skywalker threw the lightsaber after Rey handed it to him.
Yeah.
And then eventually Rey goes to get the lightsaber, and the Porgs are just playing with it. And they're just, whatever. And then they fly away. So they weren't supposed to originally fly away. So what was supposed to happen, which it has on the back here. Well, actually, that's a better picture. So it's like stepping on the lightsaber.
Right.
It was supposed to hit the button, and then the lightsaber turned on and hit another Porg through the face. I'm pretty sure that's why they made this.
Yeah.
As a like harken back to that. But also like this is like a pretty iconic, like there's Porgs with this lightsaber type scene or whatever. But like I think it's weird because I never really see any other Black Series Funko Pops. And also like I Googled before like what other Funko Pops of Porgs are there, and this never popped up. But this is never coming out. Like this is in this package forever. Like I love like the sides if you want to.
Yeah, so it has the art of him stepping on the lightsaber, and his foot is just above the. Yeah, that's really funny.
And then there's like information about Porgs on the back too.
That's so weird. It was just like I guess they were experimenting with doing other things with Black Series.
But I haven't seen anything like that like ever.
No, it may have just been a sort of an excuse to try.
Yeah. Well, guess what? It's mine.
Bridge Black Series collectors into Funko Pops or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Very weird.
I thought this was awesome.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Super cute.
Well, thanks for bringing on your Porgs. This was a
anytime.
this was a all right. I got to point this one out. I was going to say this was like a lot of effort to bring all this stuff in, but there's literally a blow up Porg up there.
Yeah. It sits on your shoulder.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. I was thinking it looks almost like a bowling pin, like those inflatable yard bowling sets. He's got straps.
The longer piece goes over top of you, so it goes like this, and then the other one just goes through your arm, and literally it'll just sit on your. I have a lot of shoulder Porgs.
Shoulder Porgs. It's a thing. So I think that might be the most ridiculous one. Do you have anything else that you think is on par?
I mean, I have a dog toy and a cat toy.
A dog toy.
I have a cat, so this actually came with the Chewbacca one. I don't know if you can hear the little rattle.
Yeah.
I gave him the Chewbacca one, kept this for myself, but he sometimes sees the feathers and he's like, "That's mine." I'm like, "No, it's not." And then I bought the dog toy too, which has a little. Where is it? No,
yeah.
But yeah. And this isn't even like close to like everything. I still have like apparel. I have mugs.
Oh yeah, I'm sure
I have
there's
bowls. Like it's a problem.
All right, so if you want to see more of Johanna, probably with less Porgs, you got to check out Hack the Movies.
Yes.
You're on the majority of the episodes.
Yeah.
Right? It's every Tuesday and Thursday?
Monday and Thursday.
How did I get that wrong? Monday and Thursday. On YouTube and on all your favorite podcast formats.
Yep.
All right. Anything else you want to plug?
I mean, I do have.
When are you starting a Porg only show?
I'm not starting a Porg. There's no way. That's so.
There's no
niche.
audience for it.
There's nobody. Like it's no. Now the only other thing would be Castzilla versus the Pod Monster. That is a podcast that I'm on with Tony from Hack the Movies. But we're kind of on a hiatus because we've been focusing more on Hack the Movies.
Gotcha.
But we do plan to come back. Like I just did an unboxing of a giant Mothra statue that I got. So, but otherwise, yeah, it's just Hack the Movies and yeah.
All right. Well, guys, thanks for hanging on the peg with us. We'll see you next time.